Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I'm a labor and delivery nurse by day, and I read all the other times. I am refilming this because I was trying to edit and it was awful. I had the window open because it was a nice day. It was really loud. And I repeatedly called it my October reads, and it is my September reads. So a few days later than normal, this would have been uploaded earlier. I got distracted, okay? The Life of a Showgirl came out, and I was so busy with that I listened to it probably 100 times yesterday. September was a weird month. I had some good books. I had some awful books. I had very few 4-star books. Most of my reads fall in the 4-star. I had 2 2-stars, a bunch of 3s, a few 4s, and then some 5s. But it still felt like a good month because a lot of these books have been just like sitting on either my physical shelf or my my TBR, and I've just been like waiting to read them. So it still feels good to like get them off the roster. So I'm happy about that. I think I'm gonna move. There's weird lighting. All right, that looks so much better. Sorry, lighting issues. So instead of doing like chronologically how I read things this month, I am going to do lowest to highest because truly some bad books out there. So I would say my very lowest was The Secret History. So ironically, I tried to read some academia this month because September is like back to school. So I tried to read academia, I had some like leftover summer books, and it's still 90 right now in October. Okay, 80. Sorry, I'm being dramatic. But these were my 2 least favorite books. They were awful. Normally I like academia. The Secret History I felt very validated when I went and looked at the Goodreads reviews because there were some very low ratings, and they said the same things that I said. So I don't feel stupid anymore. I kind of felt stupid reading this book because I was like, what am I missing? Like this, I feel like has, like a lot of people are like, this is amazing academia. It's awful. I hated it so much. So it's set in the 90s on a school campus, and there's this like billionaire Greek professor who teaches like 6 students. So they like create like this weird little posse. It feels like the professor is going to be more of a big deal than he is. He's in it like 3 times for the entire book. And one of the reviews said there's a good like 200 pages of like solid plot in this book. Unfortunately, it's 500 pages. And I agree with that. So our main character gets into this Greek class. I think his name is Richard. Honestly, like the characters were so uninteresting. Multiple murders are committed, and there's like cover-ups, and it is still boring. And I hated all the characters. And like there were a lot of things that like could have been like really spicy and like could have dove into them. We did not. We just skated right past those. And it didn't feel like it had a moral or like it didn't really wrap up very well. It was 2 stars. I do not recommend this to you. And I'm done with Donna Tartt forever because I've read The Goldfinch, and I also hated that. She's not for me. Witch Haven, this feels like it should check all of my boxes. It's about witches. It's set in the early 1900s. And it's like a school for witches. This book was so boring, and I felt like on paper it sounded great. So our main character she works in like a seamstress shop, and she's attacked one night when she's trying to like finish her job by the like lecherous owner. And while he's trying to grape her, she uses magical power she didn't know she had to kill him. So like it starts with a murder, like kind of starts with a bang. She's whisked away to this witch school that is truly boring as well. And then someone else, oh, Mabel doesn't move. She's gonna shake my tripod here in a second. But it, like, even the witch school is boring, and then there's another, like, secret, like, a gentleman's society that's trying to recruit her. Murders are committed. She's trying to solve her brother's murder. I was actually falling asleep while reading this. There's too many words for the story that there is. It was like 500 pages that did not need to be. And it kind of leaves in a cliffhanger, and I just don't care. So that's where we are. I'm not reading the next one, which is, I think, The Witch Hunt. Like, part of me wants to know how the story ends, but not enough. Not enough. I had to start another book in order to stay awake while reading. That's how awful this was. So 2 stars. And who knows, maybe you'll love it, but I did not. Here's Mabel. Mabel. She just wants to lick. She just wants to lick things. All right. No, don't. All right. So my next worst book that I listened to, and this was disappointing to me because I like Ruth Ware a lot. I have liked most of her books. I did not like, I think it was 0 Days. I did not like that one. And, yeah, but, so that was her second to the last book. I feel like The It Girl was fine. 0 Days was bad. One Perfect Couple was really good. Like, I loved it. It started, like, at the jump. It was so good. I loved The Woman in Cabin 10, and this is our 10-year later sequel. And I feel like we should have left it alone. So our main character is invited to, so she's like a travel editor. So she's invited to go back to Europe and go to this suite and, like, write up a travel vlog or travel article about it. I honestly, this book was just so boring. Like, I just don't care. I just don't care about the characters. But someone from her past is there and, like, asks her to help with something. She gets, like, in the middle of these murders, and you just don't care about them. At least I didn't. I just don't care. And I have a hard time with thrillers. So I either have to, like, feel like our main character is, like, unjustly accused, or I have to, like, really like them, or I don't, just, like, be on the edge of my seat for some reason. And so when characters, like, when I'm not, like, emotionally tied to them in some way, I just do not care. I don't. And I'm so sorry, but I feel like every thriller plot has basically been done. So it's very rare to just, like, get something fresh. So then I need to like the character. And that has seriously been missing in books I've been reading lately. So if you know of really good mystery thriller writers, let me know. I've read some Mary Kubica. She's 50% for me. Ruth Ware is pretty good. I've been recommended Charlie Donnelly, so I was going to try him. I've read some John Mars. So let me know. It's still not going to be my favorite genre. It's just not my favorite. But this time of year, I would like to read some, you know? Okay. I'm trying to decide my next bad books. So let's go with The Summer of Yes by Courtney Walsh. I really enjoy Courtney Walsh's holiday books. So I picked up a summer book. I did not love this. It was fine. I did not love it. So our main character is struck by a vehicle and ends up like in the ER next to this like business mogul. I think it's like makeup. She's like a makeup mogul who is like at the end of her life and has chosen work over life multiple times in decisions. So these two women, I would say bond, but it's very much like against the business mogul's, like it's against what she wants. Like it's like she's being held hostage by this young woman who has no power over her. So that's weird. They're like grumpy sunshine between the two of them, and the grumpy is aggressive. I didn't love it. So they decide to do, Sunshine decides to do a Summer of Yes and brings Grumpy with her, and they deal with some decisions that were made in the past, and yeah, it was fine. Give that one 3 stars. Then I read and Abby Jimenez, The Happy Ever After playlist. So this is the second book in like the Friend Zone. So it's like the Friend Zone and the Happy Ever playlist. The Friend Zone was fine. And so I didn't read the Happy Ever playlist after that because it just was fine. And then I read Abby's other books, like her most recent reads are so good. Like Say You'll Remember Me, Yours Truly, something, Part of Your World. Like those books are so good. So I was like, oh, I'll just like read another one. I just didn't love it. So our main character gets like attacked by this, not a viciously attacked, like just attacked by this, lovingly attacked by a dog that has escaped its owner. So she like leaves these scathing, like she tries to find the owner and then she's like, you know what? I own this dog now. Her boyfriend died 2 years earlier. So she's like still grieving his loss. This dog is helping her. Well, the owner is an up-and-coming singer-songwriter who was like in Australia off-grid for like a month. So he thought his dog was being taken care of and it wasn't. So he's like trying to get his dog back when he returns. And the two like start bantering and dating. They fall in love, like it's insta love. And then he wants to go on tour for his music. And so then there's the like, is the fame too much? There's a lot of miscommunication, journey. Like so much miscommunication. Like if these two had just sat down and had a 15-minute conversation about their desires, could have been a 50-page book. So that was part of why I didn't love it. What did I give that one in ratings? 3, a flat 3. So if that sounds like a really good premise to you, maybe read it. Maybe you like it. I read What Happens in Amsterdam. This is a Rachel Lynn Solomon book. I read another one. I can't remember. It was like talk show host, I think. Again, just not I think with all of these, like the banter wasn't great. So I didn't really care about the characters very much. What drew me in about this book is that it's set in Amsterdam. So our main character moves to Amsterdam on a work visa. And then there's some really shady things happening with her work visa. So she and the foreign exchange student that she was in love with in high school that her parents hosted lives in Amsterdam. So that's like part of why she couldn't get the Netherlands out of her mind. So she moves there. They run into each other. The sparks are still flying. And he needs to get married for an inheritance. And she needs like to stay in the country after her work stuff falls apart. So the two have an arranged marriage, but they still kind of love each other. But there's a lot of miscommunication. And it just wasn't that exciting. So I've seen the trope done better. I do love an arranged marriage. I've just seen it done better. So that one I gave like 3.25 stars. So like not awful, but yeah, like I wasn't yelling at the book, but I wasn't excited about it either. I wrote, there's no way you can see this because I wrote in yellow on cardboard. So no one can see it. The Crash by Frida McFadden. I think I need to stop reading her books unless you can recommend an amazing one. I liked The Housemaid. I hated The Teacher. The Inmate was okay. I just read The Tenant, and that one made me just like scream at the audiobook. This one also, I did a lot of yelling at the audiobook because I was so mad. So our main character is pregnant out of wedlock. And you learn more about her pregnancy and the happenstances of it. So she's like broke and dealing with a lot of things. Her brother invites her to come up to where he works I think he works at like a lodge, like a ski lodge. And so she stupidly decides to drive up in the middle of a blizzard and gets in a car accident where she like fractures her ankle. I'm sorry. This girl acts like this ankle, like her leg was cut off, where so many decisions could have been made. And also, like, I just know that adrenaline covers a lot of things. So, anywho. She is found by a man in his truck, and he brings her home, and then him and his wife then keep her because she's pregnant. And then there's like a weird plan to like maybe harvest her baby, but we have no idea, like, how are we getting away with murder? If anyone had talked to each other, we could have gotten out of this situation. I also, like, this girl is so debilitated by this broken ankle, and I'm so sorry, but, like, if it's between you and getting murdered, I really think that you could do more physically. Like, do I think I could climb a set of stairs while 38 weeks pregnant with a broken ankle? Yes. That's what your butt is for. You butt bump up those stairs. Like, I don't know, guys. I think Frida McFadden writes with the baseline of people being really stupid and incompetent and goes from there. So there's that. And yeah, just like pregnancy in books makes me a little antsy too, but I didn't love this. I gave it 3 stars. It did resolve okay. Like, I didn't know how they were going to do this, but they did resolve it okay. Totally unrealistically, but okay. All right. What's another not amazing book that I read? It's hard to read my handwriting. Okay, I think we're getting into the better books. So, I read Lovesick. I think this is like a self-published, I'm not sure. But our main character is going through, well, there's 2 main characters, so we've got dual POV romance. They are in an OB-GYN residency, so this was entertaining for me because that's where I work. I work with residents, I work at a teaching hospital, and so we have like, I think 8 to 10, depending on the grade, residents in each year, so there's 4 years, and then there's also like fellows with different things as well. So watching these 2 go through this OB-GYN like rotations is interesting. It is grueling, like grueling. The thing I did not love about this book is that their OB-GYN residency is incredibly toxic. Like, I know that medicine is pretty toxic, but there was so much like misogyny, which is interesting because where I work, we have about 4 male doctors out of like 100 female doctors. And the 100 is very much exaggerated, but like, we are female dominated. So misogyny has no place for us. If anything, I think we are a little bit like, a boy, ew. But so that being in this book is very interesting to me because it feels like medicine is pretty female dominated, especially in OB-GYN women's health spaces. So that was strange. And then there was a lot of like weird perceptions about DO doctors compared to MD, and that is just, maybe that's something that's happening amongst the residents, and I don't know. Like, literally, I don't know of anyone who's ever even mentioned that. Like, we never noticed that. And we have a mix in our residency. So obviously, like, I don't care where you got your degree. I care how you like treat the patient and take care of them. The romance itself was fine, and there was some miscommunication, but I gave this 3 stars, but a better 3 stars than the other ones. Does that make sense? Like, this one was actually like a little bit more enjoyable. It was fun to watch. To get a little long. All right, I think we've crossed over. Have we crossed over to the 4 stars? We have. We're on the 4 stars. So this is more like what my average book reading is. So Killer Instinct was the next book in the Naturals series. So The Naturals I read last month. This is a Jennifer Lynn Barnes series that is not Inheritance Games. Inheritance Games, 5 stars, like almost across the board. Like, out of like 10 books, I've given like 1 4.5 star. But like so good. She loves puzzles, like you can tell. So our main character was raised by a psychic. Her mother was brutally murdered and nobody like knows how. She has psychic abilities where she like touches items and can like get their backstory. She's recruited by the FBI to be part of this naturals program that are like high school students, teenagers, so not legal, not allowed to be like part of active cases. And I think that each book we're going to like kind of do like a backstory of one of the the characters because in the first book, there was, I think it was like copycat murders to her mom. So we still haven't solved her mom's murder, but like she got involved in that. And now this one, one of her coworkers, Dean, is copycat murders to his dad's murders. So like Dean's dad is a serial killer. He's in prison. So they have to like, Dean has to get involved to get information from him to try to catch these killers. And so even though they're not allowed to be part of active cases, they keep getting like pulled into these active cases because it has to do with their parents. So interesting dynamics, and like these kids are super smart. They have not like quite magical abilities, but just like enhanced abilities. So one girl is just like a math genius, like she's super intelligent. And then one girl like can tell when people are lying. I think Dean's like a profiler. Michael can like read people's emotions. So like not necessarily like like fantastical, but just like more than normal abilities. So I am enjoying that series and I'll keep reading them. I read The Rose and the Dagger. So this is, I believe the first one's called The Wrath and the Dawn, and the two of these is a duology. It's a retelling of the Scheherazade story. Who's the writer? Renee Adier? These are not new books. They've just been on my TBR for a long time because I had them in like an ebook like saved. Like I didn't have an audiobook. So I finally got around to them because I have a Kindle. So I will hopefully be catching up on some of my like really long on the TBR. I'm going to try to read ebooks each month. So this just finishes this Scheherazade story. So if you don't know it, which I didn't know it a lot, but like she's referenced in Aladdin. So Scheherazade is like married off to this king emperor who they just have the night with the king and then he murders them in the morning. So she tells stories and she just keeps telling stories. And because he wants to hear more stories, he doesn't kill her. So she like prolongs her murder basically. So this is that story. And so it has like some magical stuff in it, a lot of like political intrigue and family stuff. It was an entertaining duology. I liked it. I also just love a retelling, especially like a fairy tale. So Scheherazade seems pretty close to a fairy tale retelling. So I gave that one 4 stars. And these are like, now that I'm in the 4-star, like these, I'm not necessarily like ranking these. I gotta find. Okay. So my book club is going to be reading How to Read a Book. I think is this next month? I read 3 book club books in this month that are all for different months. So like the one that we read and just talked about in the beginning of the month, I finished this month. This one is for next month, and then another one is for November. So this one we'll be talking about in like a week or 2. And this was so good. So it's by Monica Wood. Our story starts in prison. So women's prison, or like the women's part of a prison. Helen is a retired teacher who runs a book club in prison. So she's like, it's a way for these women to engage. It's an escape for them. Our other main character, Violet, is let out on an early release. And so she's just like stumbling around in the world, trying to deal with like her past, her family relationships since she got out. I think she was in prison for 4 years and she's like young. I think she's like 22 when she gets out. And so like, just like in the years that you should be like in college or like getting your first job, to be like in prison, it's like her growth is stunted. Her mother also died while she was in prison. So she has to deal with like a lot of different circumstances while finding a job and like starting over because her sister just doesn't really want anything to do with her. And so like just sets her up in a town. And then she runs into Helen, the book club lady. And so they strike up this beautiful like fun friendship. They're are a lot of other people that make this little found family. It's very sweet. There's a lot of good quotes in it. It's a good one. I think it'll be a good book discussion. I really liked it. And then okay, something that took up a lot of my time in September, and I wish I had the physical book so I could show you. I had to return it to the library, but I did read Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone by Diana Gabaldon. I don't know. But that's like a 1,200 page book. This is like I want to say the 8th book in the Outlander series. If you don't know what Outlander is, where have you been? But this is a book that is set in like the 1950s, so post World War II. Our main character, Claire Randall, goes on like a trip to Scotland with her husband, and she like goes through these stones and lands in 1700 like the same place, but 1700. And she has to marry this super hot guy in order to like have protection, and they fall in love, and lots of other things happen. They end up in America at one point. There's like a time hop. We hop forward 20 years. So we're like post-time hop. They're in like 8 books in a 20-year time hop. Like, you know these characters so well. And they are so well fleshed out. Like, you've seen them do so much. I don't know how this woman keeps straight all the characters and like gets you to keep the characters straight. Like, there are certain characters that you're like, hey, like this is a side character that I know them in this context, and I will forget them if we leave this context. But there are so many, like in 20 years, these people meet so many people, and these people mean something. So yeah, we're in Scotland, we're in prisons, we're in wars, we're in battles. So we are now in Revolutionary War America, in like North Carolina. And so Claire, coming from 1950, knows a lot of history, and so she's always dealing with that in every situation. And I feel like I can't really tell you anymore. But this is a really great series, and even though they're like 1,200 page books, they are written so well that they're easy to read. Like, there are other books that I pick up and I'm like, this is awful. Like, it's going to be a slog. And this book, yes, it takes a long time to get through, but it's easy to read, and like you can sail through. I did do audio for like 50%, so I was like going back and forth between the physical and the audio books are also great. They're just, I think it was like, I want to say it was like 60 hours? No, 40? It was a lot of hours. So you kind of have to budget your time when you're reading that. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. So it was good. Ends on a cliffhanger. I think there is one more book. And so yeah, I took like a half star off because even though a lot happens, it feels like not a lot happens. I don't know. I would also just probably watch these, like, she kind of makes it exciting to be like, and then we planted the garden. I don't know. I don't know how she does it. I think there's a little bit of witchcraft involved. Okay. So while I was reading The Witch Haven, I had to pick up another book to, like, stay awake. So I picked up Kiss of the Basilisk. It is a split or swallow novel. Please do not read this if you do not want spice on every page. Like, there is a plot, but it's all sex. All of it. It's all sex. So do not read this if you do not like spicy books. Please do not read this if you don't want spice on every page. Thank you. So our main character lives in this kingdom where when a prince comes of age, everyone in his age, actual age, like the year he was born, is put into this like bachelorette type situation. But they have to get sexual training before they go to star on The Bachelorette with basilisks, because basilisks are super good at the sex. It's such a strange, it's strange. So the basilisks and the humans are like at war, but they like help each other with the sex, and I don't know. So like the basilisks are like trying to get power back too. So our main character falls in love with her basilisk as they're doing it, and she's also falling in love with the prince, and she's like competing in the Bachelorette, and there's a lot of sex with a lot of different people. There's lots of, so she like gets deep into like the basilisk culture, and she's trying to figure out what's going on with the prince and his family and like the evil things that they're doing, and like who's evil, who's part of it. So there was a lot of plot, but we had sex on every page. So I just want you to know that this is not like a just gotta get through the sex scenes and then the plot was good. This is it's all intertwined for 500 pages. So will I be reading the second book? Probably. It was well written. I just don't want you to read this if you don't know what this is. This is not something you want to just pick up one day, okay? So I gave that one, I think 4.5 stars. It was good. But again, I like a smutty book, and the sex was a little overwhelming for me. So there were times that I was like, I just don't think that's physically possible, which they did kind of a good job explaining. But all right, 5 stars. I think all my 5 stars were, yeah, they're all physical books. Here we go. And I don't know that I would put any of these above any of the others. I will say that probably my favorite of the month is going to be The Games Gods Play, because it was such a surprise to me. So something that I don't think anyone will be surprised at is Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. This I think is probably going to be like a best book of the year for like book of the month and Goodreads. Like this book is hyped, and it's hyped for a reason. It is very good. I enjoyed the whole thing. It is pretty short. Big words, short chapters, so it reads really quickly. Our opening line is "The farmer is dead." And it's like, it is a mystery, but I wouldn't say thriller, but there are some intense scenes. It's a lot of like history and family secrets and like untangling these stories. So there's a current point of view, there's past point of views, and we're like getting little pieces, family traumas, family histories. There is a twist at the end, like when you find out who the farmer is. That one did not surprise me. And then there's another twist that comes out of nowhere, and I loved it. I thought this was a really great time. I think it will be really fun to talk about in book club. So I think we're doing this for November. So I just read it early because I am sick of hearing how amazing it is, because I wanted to read it too. So highly recommend Broken Country. And then for September, so I read this like way in the beginning of the month. We did Frederick Backman's My Friends. This is his most recent book. I have read Anxious People, and I have started A Man Called Uva and just couldn't get through it. I think I wasn't in the right mood for it. I don't know that I'll ever pick it up again. But I do have plans to read Beartown. So I know Beartown is like one of his most popular. I don't think that he's like my author, but I do appreciate his writing. This is kind of a wild time. So hard to like wrap up. It is beautifully written. So it's both written like very irreverently, like lots of farting, lots of burping, which makes sense when you're talking about teenage children. Okay, it is getting hot up here. The sun. If you see me start sweating, that's why. Whew. So yeah, we're both irreverent, but also have beautiful prose. Like, this is written so well. I really should have just like underlined quotes that I liked, because it was so beautiful the whole way through. So it's hard to tell what our main character, okay, so our main character, I guess the biggest point of view is Louisa. She is like coming out of foster care. I think she has like weeks left before she turns 18. So she runs away from foster care, and she is going to see this artist painting that she's like worshipped because she has a postcard of it. So she goes like breaks in to see it in real life. And while she's there, she runs into the artist. The artist is dying. They like have this cute little friendship. The rest of the story is finding out the artist's background and his friends, because the painting is a picture of his friends, like sitting on the ocean. So we unpack that. There's a lot of like healing and trauma and childhood and expectations, and relationships. And then we like meet some of the friends in real life and just like deal with messiness of being humans and art. And it was beautiful. It's just such a well done book. And because it's like told as like an active story, it was just really interesting, and you never knew what was going to happen because some wild shit happens along the way, and it was like, okay, like, I'm just along for the ride. We'll just see what happens. Enchantra is the second book to Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, sorry. Phantasma is so good. The one issue I have with Enchantra is that when you tell me, when your point of view is from the other sister in the first book, and we're a little judgmental of the sister because our personalities are different, I carry that over to the second book. So I have already painted my outlook on this character. So when you then want me to love her, you've already told me in the first book that she's irresponsible and rash. And so I'm going to judge her for that, because even though I'm a middle sister, I still resonate more as a big sister, a responsible, analytical sister. So I just didn't relate to this character as much as to Phantasma. So Phantasma is this competition that these sisters get in where they use your fears and people are being murdered. There's demons involved. And they're trying to find out more information about their family. So Phantasma is amazing. Enchantra is our second sister, Gigi, after leaving that competition and all that happens, is trying to still find out more information about her family. And so she ends up at this mansion. She kind of like busts her way into it and then unwittingly gets involved in this like weird family dynamic. So the devil, a demon, has, I think it's the actual devil, has this family like under a curse where every, I forget how many years, it's like 20, 100? I don't know. But they have to compete in this like competition with each other. And so they like die, and then they have to spend their time in hell until the next time it comes around. And so she has to marry one of the brothers and be involved in it in order to stay alive, but she is mortal, so they're all trying to kill her. And it was good. It was really entertaining. It is smutty too, so if you like that, a little romantic-y. And then my last book for the month, The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. This has been in my TBR for so long. There's just always been like a newer book that I wanted to read more. So I just needed to get it off my TBR, and I wanted to read it and get it off. I have not heard much about this book. And so I don't know why I just like felt like it was going to be the book for me. And it was. So our main character's name is Lyra, and she's just trying to like mind her own business, and she runs into Hades, and she doesn't realize it's Hades, so she's like the banter is strong, and she's like real rude to him, and so she finds out he's Hades, and is like, oh, he's gonna kill me. But no, she just gets pulled into this, I think it's called the Crucible, where the gods each have someone that plays. So Hades chooses her. Hades never been part of the Crucible before, so we're trying to find out his motives. The other gods are pissed that he's part of it. So we go through all of these challenges, and like Lyra's trying to stay alive and win this for Hades and figure out his motivations. And there's maybe some spice between them, and she's trying to make alliances. It was good. I liked it a lot, and it ends on a cliffhanger. I forget what the next one's called. It's like something about things gods break or something like that. So that one actually comes out this month, like October 21st. So I don't know that I'll buy it immediately, but I will for sure be reading it. And yeah, I gave it 5 stars because I had such a great time with it, and it read really quickly. So those are my September reads. And yeah, like not not the greatest books, like quite a few 5 stars, honestly, but, and I don't know if that was like maybe in response to how bad the other books were. So I'm really excited for my October reads, so I will see you at the end of October. Bye.